Thanks. Secretary of State Antony Blinken set to speak top of the next hour on Afghanistan as President Biden's administration is unable to confirm reports of the Taliban carrying out mass killings of former Afghan officials. All of this happening amid growing concerns the U.S. has been legitimizing the terror group. White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki saying the Taliban will be judged on their future actions.
We've not reduced sanctions pressure on the Taliban leaders or the significant restrictions on their access to the international financial system. We are going to judge the Taliban by their actions, and we will stay in close coordination with the international community on any steps that we take moving forward.
Joining us now, former Secretary of State and former CIA Director Mike Pompeo. He's also a Fox News contributor. Mr. Secretary, welcome. Thank you for being here. Obviously, another important day in all of this. We'll hear from Secretary Blinken, we are told, top of the hour. Depending on what he says, how can we today judge the Taliban on their actions, knowing the White House has not been able to confirm those mass revenge killings that are reportedly happening? If they are able to confirm that, how should Biden respond?
Well, Senator John, thanks for having me on. First of all, it's a bad thing that we can't confirm what's going on there. This is indicative of the failed withdrawal plan. If we don't have adequate intelligence to see what's going on in those places, that tells you that we're in for a whole lot of trouble in the months and years ahead. But as for the Taliban themselves, we know the actions that they're likely to take. The administration continues to talk about having leverage. I can't imagine what that leverage is. I see that we abandoned all that leverage when we left Bagram, left our military forces on the ground. Those were the things that were our leverage. I suspect this administration is watching to see how much money they're going to provide the Taliban, how much resource they're going to provide the Taliban in order for us to get a handful of Americans out and maybe a handful of more of these Afghans who supported America for all these years out. We know precisely how the Taliban is likely to behave. They believe in one of the most harsh forms of Sharia law anywhere in the world. They are likely to continue these vindictive revenge killings. We've seen a handful of them already. I suspect the worst is ahead.
And I asked that in the context of Secretary Blinken and the last time that he addressed the nation, talking about leaving the door open to working with the Taliban in the future, which added to the concerns that we are legitimizing a terror group. I want to bring to you something that just hit the wires a moment ago. This is Reuters reporting this, that according to 3 Taliban sources, the Taliban is now in full control of the whole of Afghanistan. I suppose that could be a bit confusing to those hearing that, considering we all assume that the Taliban has complete control of Afghanistan, but we're told there was 1 or 2 holdout provinces that have now fallen to the Taliban. I just wanted to get your reaction to that and what that means to you.
There were still some forces fighting in the north. The action, the TV cameras have all been around the airport in Kabul these last weeks. There were some forces still fighting against the Taliban in the north. It sounds like perhaps they consolidated the capitals of those provinces as well. The Taliban will struggle. There'll still be rogue actors. There'll still be folks who want to push back against them. That's been the case for decades in Afghanistan. The civil war is likely to continue. But the statement that they've now captured all of the capitals, every capital in Afghanistan, is simply the symptom. It's the outcome of the poorly executed withdrawal that the Biden administration has now led.
I want to ask you about the vetting process that is now happening. We'll put up on the screen a map we made of the U.S. military bases that are now housing Afghan refugees. Obviously, these are located across the country. Mr. Secretary, can you help us understand a bit what that vetting process looks like, considering we know, according to officials, that this is normally a process that takes months, if not years. And it is now happening in a matter of hours and days to vet those coming into the country. What can you tell us is happening with that process?
Sandra, you know this. If it's being done in hours, there will be mistakes. There'll be things missed. It is a certainty. Some of the folks who came initially, we already knew. They were very close to us. We had biodata on them. We'd been working with them for years. They had had vetting through all of that time. They were pretty comfortable with that. The folks who were secondary, if someone's family came in that we didn't know, someone's brother, someone's cousin, someone's friend that we thought was a brother, these are big. This is a big risk to the United States of America. I was passing through Dulles Airport now just a handful of days ago. I saw what looked like a chaotic situation with hundreds of Afghans that were there making transit through Dulles Airport here in Virginia. Make no mistake about it, this vetting process has to be meticulous. It does take time. To try and do this on the sly or do it in quick time will result in risk. I've heard that there have already been those who came to the United States that have had to be returned to other countries because we missed them when we initially picked them up before they embarked on an airplane coming here. I suspect we'll see more of that. I suspect we'll see more stakes, and I fear that we'll see an attack here in the homeland or a growing plot here in the homeland because we didn't catch the right folks and we didn't have the right data sets or the time to do the vetting in a way that's proper.
It's a dire warning from you. Just with the few seconds I have left, do you believe that Blinken will address that when he speaks top of the hour, that process and bringing those Afghan civilians over?
I imagine that he will. I hope that the head of DHS will do the same. I hope that the CBP leadership, who's going a big piece of this burden falls to. I feel for those poor CBP guys who have enormous political pressure on them to do this quickly and to do this fast. Quick and fast often means not right. I hope that every senior leader in the administration will talk about how they're going to do it. They'll do it in a way that is methodical, and they'll deliver a secure outcome for the people of the United States.
Secretary of State Mike Pompeo, always good to get your time. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. I'm Brian Kilmeade. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to click to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page. This is the only way that I know for sure that you're not going to miss any great commentary, any great news bites, any great interviews coming your way on Fox. You can get it all here on YouTube. So subscribe right now.